Well, hello. God bless you. Glad to have you back with us today. And we are just so blessed to have you join along with us in the study together through the book of John. And as always, we want to encourage you if we can be praying for you um, about any situation or need that you may have. We would love to hear from you. So please contact us through the information that's available on the screen. And then also be sure to subscribe to the channel here if you haven't yet. We would love for you to follow along with us, not only in this teaching series that we are in now, but there are many teaching series that are available here on the YouTube channel, as well as on the ministry website at kevinmayfield.org. And so we want to get into our scriptures today. We are in John chapter 6. When we left off yesterday, Jesus had fed 5,000 men with a small little meal that or lunch that a young boy had brought with him. And so we are picking up today when Jesus had went alone, went and got off by himself. And so we pick up in verse 16. It says that when even was now come, his disciples went down unto the sea and entered into a ship and went over the sea toward Capernaum. And it was now dark, and Jesus was not come to them. Verse 18, and the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. So when they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the sea and drawing nigh to the ship, and they were afraid. Now, if you remember from yesterday, I had told you that there was a couple of opportunities there where Jesus challenged them in faith. So the first one was when he asked Philip about, how can we get enough bread to be able to feed these people? And so Philip's response was, well, 200 pennyworth is not sufficient that everybody may even have a little piece. And so the scriptures told us that Jesus asked him that in order to test his faith. And so the other disciples, it said that Andrew had spoke up and said, well, there's a young lad here that's got 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes, but what are they among so many? And so even the other suggestion that was mentioned in the word still referenced that it was not enough. And so Jesus sent them all with a basket each, I believe, to remind them that faith is a powerful thing. And so here we find that the disciples, they leave, they get on the ship, they go out into the midst of the water. A great storm arose, and Jesus came walking to them on the water. But the scripture says that when he was getting close to the ship, it said they were afraid. So in other words, they didn't know who it was. They were afraid in this moment. And so as we look into verse 20, it says, but he said unto them, it is I, be not afraid. So Jesus spoke to them in that moment and said, don't be afraid, it's just me. And so verse 21 says, then they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at land, whither they went. All right, so another miracle occurs here. So basically at the point when Jesus gets into the boat, it says immediately the ship was at the land where they were going to. So in other words, it's almost as if this is another opportunity to challenge or test their faith. That they were out in the middle of the sea there, and this storm arose. And then as Jesus came walking to them, it said that they were afraid, but Jesus spoke to them and said, don't be afraid. And so when they received him, it says immediately the ship was at land where it was going to. So when we go into verse 22, it says, the day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there save the one whereunto his disciples were entered, and that Jesus went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone. So the people noticed that Jesus didn't leave with them. There was only one boat there. They left, but now all of a sudden they realized that Jesus is not there. And so as we look into verse 23, it says, Howbeit there came other boats from Tiberias nigh unto the place where they did eat, after that the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum seeking for Jesus. Verse 25, And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when camest thou hither? So in other words, they said, Jesus, how did you get here? All right, or when did you get here? How did you get over here? Because you did not leave with your disciples, because we saw you go up in the mountain. They got on the boat and left, but how did you get here? Okay, that's what they asked him. Jesus responds to them in verse 26. It says, Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, you seek me not because ye saw the miracles, but because ye did eat of the loaves and were filled. So in other words, he said, the only reason why you're interested in me is because you ate of the miracle that I provided unto you. So he said, you're not seeking me for the right reason. Okay? You seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and you were filled. All right, now watch what he goes on to say here. This is our last scripture for today. But in this next verse, he says, Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you, for him hath God the Father sealed. I want to remind you of something that we saw the other day. Jesus had made a statement to some of the people that were persecuting him. He said, I know you, and I know that the love of the Father, and I know that the Word is not in you. And here Jesus makes a statement. He says, Labor not for meat that perisheth. So when Jesus had made the statement to them up in verse 26, when he said unto them, you're not seeking me because you saw the miracles, in other words, how I had done healings and things like that for people that were diseased, but because you ate of the bread and you were filled. So in other words, you're focused more on something that satisfied your flesh or your body than your spirit. All right, and so Jesus is telling them, Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you, for him hath God the Father sealed. So Jesus was encouraging the people that day, look, don't follow me just because you ate of something that happened there and you got a temporary feeling. See, that meal they ate didn't last forever. That was a temporary thing. But what Jesus can provide to our soul and to our spirit is something that can last eternally. So he told them to long and hunger for that, not for things that are temporary, but things that are permanent or can be permanent. So anyway, I hope you have a great day today. I thank you for joining us, and we just love having you with us as we continue in this study together, and we would love to hear from you. Any prayer requests or praise reports. Also, if you enjoy this, if you are enjoying this series, please leave me a comment down below, or give me a like on there. And I just hope this word finds you encouraged, and it leads you and it guides you in truth. I hope you have a great day today. God bless you, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow for our next study together right here. God bless you. We'll see you then.